Now, one of the things that is on all of our minds as we watch the news or talk over the dinner table is, what is this world that we're living in? We're all together, but yet in many ways we're apart. COVID really exposed that in so many ways. We were even isolated and remained in many places isolated to our own homes. So we saw what that was like. We know it's a crowded world. We know it's a crowded community, but yet we lived alone. And we saw how that can harm us and hurt us. We wanted to protect ourselves from our virus, but in many ways it denied our own humanity. Because we are social creatures. That is true. No matter who you are, there is someone, there is a group, there are people who you identify with. And that's where we try to think about our own human nature, our desire to survive and thrive, and who is that group that we identify with. So for many of us, it's natural to think our group is our family, our home, our city, our country, and of course, that's natural. That is absolutely natural. But also, as thinking people, we want to throw into the mix, well, what are the bigger issues that our world is facing? And what is it that we really need to address? And we think about those challenges like COVID, like climate change, like the economy, like security, like our social lives, where we never know who is going to come into our path, who our children may bring over for dinner. And we start to realize it's not as certain as maybe in past generation it was, that all you needed was your local community, your city, your country, or a group you identified with. Because those challenges can't be faced alone. A wall isn't going to keep out noxious gases that are destroying Earth. A wall isn't going to keep out a virus. Anyone can threaten our security with technology. They can bring things in to harm us. We see that. So again, as thinking beings, you want to say, who are my allies in making sure that my future can remain secure and prosperous? And then we think of ourselves as tribal people, because people say that's a survival trait. But when you look at the problems and you look at the planet Earth and you look at our common humanity, today we need to define our tribe differently around this idea that in many ways it is humanity that is our tribe. And we go around the world and maybe there are things that we see that we don't necessarily like or aren't for me. But we can learn from one another because there are many things and great ideas that are elsewhere and that we can benefit from. And how humanity has always kind of survived in spite of itself sometimes is if we see civilization, the torches are often passed. So you see this part of the world one time was dominant because those people had something to offer. And then it was passed. That was a decline of that part of the world. And the next generation, the next civilization, that torch was passed. But what you'll notice is nobody ever started over. Nobody took all the great ideas of the Romans and threw them in the garbage and said, we're going to start over because I hated the Roman Empire and I'm not going to try to benefit from architecture or running water. Who does that? They still took those ideas. Maybe they didn't give a lot of credit. The next civilization didn't give a lot of credit to the previous generation, but you don't have to be a scholar in history to know that all of civilization was built on the progress of a previous civilization. And the interesting thing about history, we open up our books and you can pick up a chapter that tells you there has been civilization and progress in every part of the earth and every people. Europe, China, India, the Arab world, South America, North America, every part of the world, those humans there contributed to the progress of civilization. So what we do when we go abroad, we come back to this very simple idea, the power of ideas, the marketplace of ideas. As a competition lawyer, that's what I do every day. I work on problems and issues and deals where it's about, why does this product work? Why doesn't that product work? Why do people like this? Why don't people like that? It all comes down to basic human behavior. And no one over time likes to buy or pay for crappy things. We like to buy things that are valuable, that are worth our money. And that's just like the marketplace of ideas. Over time, as we continue to discover, to enjoy, and sometimes we think, oh, well, all of them think, I don't like this people, or I don't like that. But yet, what are the number one things of human existence, this experience? Travel. We all love to travel. We spend our precious dollars on travel. Why do we do that? Why did Marco Polo travel? Because it is wired within us to discover and engage the world. So that is today even more important than ever, because we put these simple things together. The challenges are beyond one country or community. Technology that has never been available in the history of humanity, this isn't just pie in the sky, it's true, has never connected humanity more than ever today. And we have limited resources on this little blue planet. So it's a very simple, almost mathematical calculation. You have these challenges, you have this technology, you have these assets. Guess what? How do you put them all together as one big human tribe to make sure that we can make the future as prosperous and peaceful as ever in our history?